let's get into it. Uh, Earlier today, Carlos Dunlap gets traded from the Bengals to the Seahawks with B.J. Finney, third round draft pick, seventh round, whatever it was. Uh, Dunlap obviously wanted out of Cincinnati to the point that he's airing out team edge rushing routines and rotations. So he got what he wanted. After that disaster of a game that they should have won against Cleveland, he put his house up on the market. Cincinnati got rid of him and took what they can get for him. Then comes AJ Green. Does he want out? The media says he wants out. I think he does want out. He's just not going to come out and say it. Um, like I said, there's teams looking for wide receivers. Green Bay being one, which I think he would be a good fit there with Rodgers. He'd be a good fit with San Fran. He'd be a good fit in Arizona. Arizona would probably be the prolifical choice because you're with an improving quarterback every game, and you have DeAndre Hopkins, and you have a decent run game there, a decent offensive line. You have a somewhat of a decent defense. If I'm the Cardinals, I make that call. What's it going to take to get AJ Green here? What draft picks are you looking at? Nothing too crazy because AJ Green coming off that injury last year and he's not really producing. So literally, I think it takes maybe a fourth and a fifth to get it done, and that's it. And that's all I would give up for him. Um, you know, if I'm the Giants, I see what it takes to get AJ Green. If I'm the Jets, I see what it takes to get AJ Green. Because when AJ Green's healthy and he can get the ball, he's a decent receiver. Look what he did with Dalton for a few years. The proof's in the numbers. Um, what people have to understand, Cincinnati's going to be in full rebuild mode. So they're going to be building through whatever pieces they can get from free agency, whatever trades, and draft picks. If you didn't realize they were in rebuilding mode, obviously when they let Dalton walk, they couldn't trade him. They let him go. Drafted Burrow. Dalton was going to stay as the backup. Then I think he was traded to Dallas, or they just let him go, and then he signed with Dallas. I forget how that whole scenario went down. But if you didn't realize it then, if you're a Bengals fan, you realize it now. Uh, you know, and then came the Cam Sutton fiasco last night. Well, not really a fiasco, more of a cryptic messaging in a way. Puts up blank screens with peace signs and yes sir, but then he's at team meetings today. And when I woke up this morning, I was going through Twitter, and it was apparently he was traded to New England for Stephen Gilmore, and I would welcome the deal. As much as I like Cam Sutton, and he filled in great for Hilton against Tennessee, if you can get a Stephen Gilmore type cornerback, who, granted, I think Steven Nelson should have won Defensive Player of the Year over him because of the whole Nelson gave up no touchdowns. Nelson didn't get burned by half the receivers that Gilmore did. And Nelson was just the better of the two, to be honest. And not just because he was on Pittsburgh, but because he just was. If you watch them play, if you watch all their games on split-screen TVs and just watch them, you'll see how many times Gilmore gets burnt and how many times Nelson didn't. Now, Nelson digressed a bit this year, and I get that. But if you were to get Stephen Gilmore, here's the hypothetical that happens. You got to either move Hayden or Nelson to the safety spot, and you got to take Terrell Edmonds, and you got to put Edmonds in the linebacker position. Now, Edmonds, when he played at Virginia Tech, Virginia Tech, I think he played at. I know of one of the Virginia college teams. He was a ferocious hitter. I watched tape of him in college, and he could hit. Which leads me to believe, why can't he do it now? Why can't he hit people now? Why can't he play the way he did in Virginia? I don't know. You see every time there's a big play, somehow he's blowing the coverage or he's involved in it somehow. And I don't put him in the linebacker position. Robert Spillane will fill in fine there, but I think you got to rotate that out with Alex Highsmith. And you're going to say, Jim, what is it with this Highsmith kid that you love about him? First off, look at his work ethic. You drafted him for a reason. Give the kid the mother effing shot here. Please. Please, Butler. That's what you got to do. He's got the height, the speed, the agility, the strength. He could play the position. I'm telling you. Like I said, he's one of the diamonds in the rough in this past year's draft. Um, Everybody loved the pick. That I know as a Steeler fan, everybody loves the pick. Um, and like I said, he could be the next James Harrison in this team, or the next Lamar Woodley, or the next Joey Porter, or even I'll say this: he could be the next Ryan friggin' Shazier. And you know, and those are top guys that play on the Steeler defense. That you get that comparison, damn, and you're getting that from me. Um, you know, but yeah, I would welcome the Gilmore trade. Uh, but then you gotta readjust the secondary a bit, and putting Edmonds there is a huge gamble at linebacker. I just don't think you do it. Um, Now, speaking of trades, and there's a team that needs to make a trade, and that's the Oakland Raiders. If I'm Oakland, knowing Trevor Lawrence is possibly going to come out, which we'll get to that in a minute, because they had a Zoom call with him, and there's another former New York quarterback who had to chime in, who maybe should have kept his mouth shut a bit, in my opinion. Um, I would call the Jets. Be like, listen, you ain't winning a game this year. Look at your schedule. Let's get realistic. Going 0-16. We'll trade you Derek Carr, and we get the number one pick. Trevor Lawrence goes to Vegas. Done deal. Joe Douglas, I would do it. And Jets fans would be like, yeah, but we could get Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, but you're going to get a quarterback who's already proven that he could play in the league. Trevor Lawrence isn't going to come to a team that's not. He's not going to come to the Jets. And Tim Tebow is the New York quarterback, former New York quarterback, New York celebrity, they called him on WFAN today, who came out and he pretty much said, if I were you, I'd stay my senior year. But here's the risk in that. There's several risks in this. One of the risks being you could get hurt in that last year eligibility you have, and your career could be screwed. Or, and this could happen, and I see it happening, the Jets could go 0-16 again. And then what are you going to do? Now you don't have another year of eligibility. So, in my opinion, if I'm Trevor Lawrence, I come out but say, hey, this is how I'm going to come out. I don't want to go to the Jets. So you work out a deal with whoever you got to work out a deal with, and I'm telling it's Vegas. And Trevor Lawrence goes to Vegas. Especially when you're going to open up that stadium next year with fans in it, hopefully. Because by then I'm sure this COVID thing will be under control. Somehow there'll be vaccines, or it'll weaken, or whatever it is. And there'll be fans. You want to open up that stadium with Derek Carr? A guy who's been mediocre for you at best. And great, he's better than his brother, because his brother was less than mediocre. But Derek Carr is not the answer there. And the way you boost those ticket sales up in Vegas, Trevor Lawrence is that shiny new toy. It's like that brand new Camaro coming off the line from the Chevy dealership. Right? That's what it's like. Now, I was talking with a Jets fan who comes in every day, and he said, no, we got to get Trevor Lawrence. I said, listen, bro, you got to understand this. He doesn't want to play for you, because you guys are going to anoint him the next Jesus Christ. He's going to be the savior, and he's going to, he's going to work wonders. And listen, it's not going to happen. If he plays for the Jets, then you know what? Then yeah, I'm wrong, and I'll admit it. You know what? He chose to play, and that's what it is. But at the end of the day, I don't think he comes here. I don't think he comes here. If I'm the Raiders, I'm trying to think of all the teams who might be in need of a quarterback. If I'm the Niners, I'm calling the Jets. Like, listen, we'll give you Deebo Samuel and 2 third-round draft picks, and we swap first-round draft picks. Does that get us Trevor Lawrence? Yeah, that gets you Trevor Lawrence. Who else could be in need of a quarterback? New England. And I would hate to see that, because then Belichick would have his new Tom Brady. And Trevor Lawrence would go from the most loved guy coming out in the draft into the most hated guy because he went to New England. But would he thrive in New England? Yeah, he would. He would thrive anywhere he pretty much goes, as long as he's got the right offensive system and the right offensive weapons. Trevor Lawrence puts up Hall of Fame numbers. Um, the Giants are another team that, what are they going to do at the deadline? They're going to sell, they're going to buy, they're going to just, who are they going to get rid of? They really have nobody that, I mean, they got rid of Marcus Golden and they traded him back to Arizona, and I think they got a 6th-round pick for him, right? Who else are they going to trade off? And who can you really trade off? And what are you going to get? You're just going to stack up 6th-round draft picks, and again, you find those guys later in the rounds, that nobody would want but become stars. And again, guys like Tom Brady, I hate to give the man his due, but he was Mr. Irrelevant, and look at him now. James Harrison, he wasn't even drafted, and Pittsburgh signed him, and look what Harrison did. Look at a guy like Juju, was a 3rd-round draft pick, 2nd-round draft pick, and look what he's done so far in his young career. That's what I'm saying. You could find these guys. Look at DK Metcalf in Seattle as a prime example. Look how far DK Metcalf fell in the draft. And look what he's doing now. Did you see that game Sunday? Any other player would have given up on that pick, would have been pick 6 by Budda Baker, right? Right? DK Metcalf ran after him like he was a Karen running after somebody because their dog shit on their grass, and they didn't pick it up. Okay? That's how he was running to get his ass. And no wide receiver is built like DK Metcalf. He's just a different breed of a player, and he's a guy who goes all out for you. And Giants fans, you missed the ball. Giants organization and the fans, you all missed out on that one. That could have been one of Daniel Jones' top receivers as far as weapons. That would have been it. From the Giants, I see who wants to take Golden Tate, who's looking for a wide receiver for a 3rd and 4th-round draft pick. I don't see Golden Tate staying here in New York. He's done absolutely nothing. There's a reason why he's gotten traded and let go from teams, has become a free agent as many times as he has. I see what you get for him. You gotta, but the thing is, if you're gonna make these trades, you can get draft picks out of it. Again, don't let Gettleman draft. Don't. He should be banned from it. He should be banned from ever drafting again. I would let Joe Judge draft a team with his coaching staff. Let them decide who they're going to draft, because they're the ones who are going to be stuck with whatever's getting drafted anyway. So you could turn around in 5 years and let's say the Giants draft, I'm trying to think somebody coming out this year other than Trevor Lawrence. Let's say they draft the running back from Alabama, Najee Harris, whatever his name is. Let's say they draft him, and now they have a 2-headed monster at running back with Barkley and Harris, right? Okay. But Harris don't pan out so well. Well, now Gettleman can't get the blame. Gettleman can't get the blame. Now you put on Joe Judge because he drafted him. And the difference between Joe Judge and Adam Gase, and again, is Joe Judge will take the accountability, and Adam Gase has yet to take the accountability, and that's why Adam Gase at the end of the year, see you later, goodbye, and he'll probably be irrelevant from NFL coaching. He'll probably go back to college, or he'll friggin' be coaching a high school football team in like Podunk or something like that. Because Adam Gase is a cancer to the Jets. You were probably better off giving Greg Williams the position, honestly, or even begging Rex Ryan to come back. That's just, I wouldn't have made Adam Gase, because I guess they didn't watch what was going on in Miami and how everybody wanted out. I mean, look, Minka wanted out. And look what, I mean, we gave up a 1st-round draft pick for Minka, and I had to hear the bitching from Steeler fans. Yeah, we don't get a 1st-round draft pick in this draft. Right? Right? Okay. The reason why I didn't get mad about that is because we didn't have that good of a draft pick in last year's draft. We had like the 18th pick anyway. So, what does it matter? Because we went 8-8. Whatever we would have gotten then, doesn't compare to what we got in Minka. So we got the first round draft pick early, and from a financial standpoint, it made sense to do it because you're not paying him a lot of money. You're paying him 1.25 million this year, next year, and the year after. So he's not hurting the cap at all. He's not hurting the cap like when you give old Antonio Brown his money, and then he starts acting like a jackass, and then you got to trade him, and you're on the books. You're on the hook for his money. You're on the hook for his money now, and and it's the same thing with the Jets. You released Bell, and now you got to pay him 20 million for the next 2 years. So if the Jets were smart, they would have been like, listen, we'll take the 6th round draft pick you're gonna give, but you got to pay part of his contract because now, when you sign these guys, and the Giants did it with Beckham, they gave him his deal, and then we're not trading, and then Gettleman trades him. You realize that when these guys get traded, that the team that traded them still got to pay them. It's just that's just how it goes. Whatever's owed, they still have to pay him unless you work out in the deal. Listen, you got to pay him what's owed, but then you're taking less. And in other trade scenarios that I'm trying to think of, like a hypotheticals of teams that should just be sellers at this point. Another team that I could see really being a seller actually might be New England. Who could you trade off there to possibly start rebuilding? Edelman's a name that comes to mind because Edelman, you can get a second for him. You might even get a late first round pick for him. Especially if you're gonna try to trade for the number 1 pick, it may take giving up Edelman to get that from the Jets if you're gonna deal with the Jets. And getting it because Belichick could easily call over there to Douglas and be like, listen, you're going 0-16. You're not even gonna beat us, and we suck with Cam Newton right now. And listen, we'll give you Edelman, a 2nd round draft pick, and we get the 1st round draft pick, and we flip flop picks in the 1st round. That would get New England Trevor Lawrence because obviously New England's not going to tank to get him. Not at this point. Now with the Jets record the way it is, they're pretty much going to. If you look at the Jets schedule, they're pretty much losing every game. I mean, they go to Kansas City this week, and they're going to get. It's going to be a slaughter by the 2nd, 3rd quarter. So much so that you could see them changing the game to something else entirely and just turning it off. Do I see the Chiefs even possibly getting another player or two? I think the Chiefs need to bolster the defense because they have like a 23rd ranked defense, and it's funny because for years their defense has been good and their offense has been mediocre. Now it's the defense is mediocre and their offense is unstoppable. You got to have an even ratio to that. Just think about the games where the Chiefs were down 24-0 and Mahomes got to drive them back. And yeah, they win by 20, 30 points, but if you think about it, it wouldn't have been that high scoring if your defense just stopped them. You wouldn't have to come back from 24-0. So, the Cowboys are looking to release, I think, DeAndre Poe. The Steelers should take a look into that. The Chiefs might take a look into it. Who knows? Anything between now and the 29th, anything could happen. Another team that might be looking for a quarterback if they don't sign Dak is Dallas. What does Jerry Jones do there? Does he give Dak the contract? Does he not give him the contract? If you think about it, Dak was on pace to earn his next deal. If it wasn't for that horrific injury, an unfortunate one, which I heard some Cowboys fans over the past few weeks saying that was a dirty hit by Logan Ryan. It was a dirty play. It was perfectly done. First off, if you watch the game, it wasn't. It wasn't. Logan Ryan made a play. An unfortunate incident occurred, and that's just that. So don't sit there and say, oh, well, it was a dirty hit, because it wasn't. Bostic's hit on Andy Dalton last week, that's a dirty hit. Hits that Vontaze Burfict put on Antonio Brown and other NFL players over the course of his career, those are dirty-ass hits. Not what Logan Ryan did, okay? Logan Ryan came out and even felt bad about it after the fact. If it was a dirty hit, do you think he comes out and feels bad about it? No. So the Cowboy fans just shut up with that noise. And then what what really what really kind of got to me a bit is, and I keep reading this because it pops up every day on Facebook, and I guess it's just the same guy just reposting his stupid little article about how fans should wish Juju would turn out to be like Antonio Brown and be a diva. And again, I'm sorry, I don't see that happening. And I even read a possible deal where they try to trade Juju to Miami. I don't know who wrote that one, but that had to be the dumbest article. I couldn't even read it. It was just dumb. It was just the title of it alone was just so stupid. The Steelers are not going to trade Juju mid-season to the friggin' Dolphins. They're not doing it. They're gonna do what they can to re-sign him and give him his deal, even if it's a 1 year, even if it's a 1 year and like $5-6 million deal. I think Juju stays. I think Juju knows what's going on. I think Juju understands that, hey, you know what, the money may not be there now, but it may be there later. Um, and people are getting his ear like, hey, listen, you're young, anything can happen. Look what happened to Dak. Look what happened to this guy. Look what happened to this guy. And they all played under franchise tags, right? But it doesn't happen to everybody. And like even going back to the Cowboys, they're even for a guy that they signed in Everson Griffin, right? They're even looking to trade him. So Dallas, honestly, I think they're looking to rebuild. And fans are even clamoring for Mike McCarthy to get fired. Listen, you guys clamored for 10 plus friggin' years to get Jason Garrett fired. You think Jerry Jones listened to any of you about that? No. Mike McCarthy ain't leaving unless Mike McCarthy wants to leave. Jerry Jones will keep him as the head coach for as long as he can until Jerry Jones can't handle it no more. Okay? Until his silly little son goes, like, Dad, Mike McCarthy doesn't want us anything, and I think we should get rid of him. And then Jerry Jones will be like, you know what? Okay, son, that's what we're gonna do. All right, dynamic. All right, that's what's gonna happen. So, Cowboys fans, Mike McCarthy ain't going nowhere. And Jets fans were even clamoring for him. And I said this to both Cowboys and Jets fans. Mike McCarthy's a decent coach, but look at the weapons he had in Green Bay, right? You had Rodgers, you had Jordy Nelson, Jimmy Graham, Jeff Janis, this guy, that, right? You had all these weapons for all these years that he was there. And what did it amount to? One. One Super Bowl. One. And those same people I said to, well, what did Tomlin do? You had the killer bees, and you guys didn't even win a Super Bowl. Yeah, and I'll give you that. But you know what? Then you had Le'Veon Bell. He wanted more money, and Pittsburgh didn't want to pay him, so he sat out like a little crybaby, and woe is me. And and then Antonio Brown had become a head case, and it just is what it is. Um, and speaking of Pittsburgh, I do see them. I see them possibly making a trade or signing somebody because this this window now is the window to win. It's closing slowly. It's closing. That they have to make one or two moves because it could be this year or next year is the only opportunity to win a Super Bowl before it's rebuild mode. And I hate to say that, but Ben's not getting any younger, and he's showing it. He's not as mobile as he used to be. He's not as fast as he used to be. But to say that he is done, he's not done. You see the zip on that ball. The guy ain't done yet. Um, who do they sign or make a trade for? I think you got to trade for a linebacker, and I think you got to get another. I think you got to get maybe another safety. Maybe you package something and get Edmonds out of here. I hate to see it, but Edmonds, you really haven't played to your potential, in my opinion. Um, Maybe you package something with him to Dallas, and you get Everson Griffin, and maybe who knows? Maybe Michael Gallup. Who knows? It's going to be a lot of. I think it's going to be an interesting trade deadline. I think it's going to be a lot of scenarios. Obviously, people love talking hypotheticals and what their team should do, who they want to see traded. you know, but day by day, we're gonna hear something, and the rumor mills are gonna fly, and I can't wait to see what happens. You know, hopefully my team does something. I'm interested to see who the buyers and the sellers are. I have my opinions of who they're gonna be. You guys already know that. Let's wait and see what happens. But I'm done for the night. I gotta take a shower, and I got another lovely day at work tomorrow. Till the next video. Peace.